making of the willow tree sculpture was not an easy journey. There were tears, tantrums, and all hope was thought to be lost at some stages. But I struggled on and now have a fully standing, upright tree. To start this voyage, research had to be done. I looked at a range of artists and sculptors, including Claude Monet and Albert Pailly. Each in their individual way gave me inspiration ideas for my own piece. By looking at Roxy Payne's Graft, I knew I wanted mine to be large-scaled and lifelike. Through researching Tonkin Lu's Singing Ringing Tree, I knew I wanted it to tantalise more than just one sense, sight. Pierre Vivant's Traffic Light Tree was unusual and original, like Albert Pailly's, which was symbolic and meant more than just something unusual to look at. During the research of my cardboard sculpture project, I gained a little more understanding of the structure that was needed, not only for the appearance of the tree, but also to ensure the balance was kept from the piece falling over or breaking. Once it had been decided that mesh chicken wire was to be used, I started on making a mini mock-up of the final piece. Changes had to be made and different shapes were used to find the best stability and form. A wide base was what my research had shown me, but anything too wide and the tree would look more stumpy and less elegant. As the mini mock-up was tweaked and twisted, I finalised the shape and began work on the final piece. The original plan was to paper mache the whole piece for extra strength, but as the tree began to take shape, I could not bring myself to cover the unusual look of the mesh wire. The project is called Ghost of Movement, and the emptiness of the chicken wire really portrays the skeleton of something that was once beautiful and full of life. As the branches were added and the shredded paper was attached, the balance was immediately affected. The weight of the paper was too much for the chicken wire to hold, and many branches buckled under the weight. As more branches were added to balance out the mass, it became clear that the trunk itself was struggling under the weight. More wire was attached around the middle, but this was still not enough to carry the heaviness of the paper. The tree collapsed at the trunk and all the paper came plunging down to the ground. To fix this problem, string was attached to the tree and the wood support at the bottom. This held it up long enough for more wire to be added and additional branches to help the balance of the weight. The clinical colour of the white paper and the movement it had really helped to resemble a ghost of this tree. It was haunting, but in a spiritual way, not the scary look from all the movies. The paper enhanced the movement of the tree that I was adamant from my cardboard research not to lose. For those around it, touching the floating paper seemed impossible not to do. There was something about the tree that drew people in. Was it the paper, or was it the sculpture as a whole? As the last few shredded pieces of paper were added, conversations were had about the use of paper as a background for the projector. Although the sculpture was now looking more noticeably like a willow tree, the skeleton of the wire had been hidden. I'd originally made changes to ensure that part could be seen, and now I'd covered it up again with more paper. The conclusion to these conversations? Take all the paper off. Once all the paper was gone, you could see the pure mass of the material that this tree had been holding. No wonder it had buckled under the pressure. The strings were released, and to my surprise it stood tall on its own. Without the strings to hold it down, the wire was free to move how it pleased. However, without the paper, it looked less like a willow and could be mistaken for any tree. When I was removing the paper, I knew not to throw it away. It had to be used, but I wasn't sure for what. Then more conversations were had, and the curtain of paper that originally drew people in became just that, a curtain. For my show build, people will be able to interact with my work using their sense of touch and literally step into the artwork. Our section of the hall we will be given can be used in any way we choose. My choice will be to use the paper as a screen for people to walk through into the heart of the piece. The paper can still be used as a background for the film, so people will literally be stepping into the movie. Once inside, the fairy lights will guide you around to look at the tree from every angle. If it's possible, sound effects from the once inhabited tree will play to flavour the sense of sound as well as sight. Through research, trial and error, and happy mistakes, I've come to build this final piece. I encourage you to come and see it for yourself, to experience the true potential that this willow tree has. There's still more to come, but we're nearing the end. See you soon. Bye.